Yes, look at those fall flowers. Remarkable. Almost as if saying goodbye at the end of September, and how we will miss them. Anyway, Gord's Poetry Show, number 76. Looks like we're limited to about 21 minutes. So I'm going to be charging along here. And the noisy equipment seems to be off for the moment. And why am I dark? Well, because the sun went down. Oh, there we go. The sun didn't go down. It just looked like it went down. Oh dear. Yeah, poetry. I got a lot of it here. I'll never get to half of it. But let's have a go. Witness I Am, Gregory Scofield. We've read from this before. We're going to read from it again. This is how the heart breaks. Scrubbing what can't be seen. The countertop and laughing light. It comes to this. All year the demolition of the house. First it is the living room where she is apt to lay. Then the hall because it's a tunnel, a passage as long as hope. Then the bedroom, and on the duvet, two heavy eyes, a pauper's flame at best. We are suffering this unmaking, this tear down of something so precious. I am beyond my own bed of grief. It happens like this. Fall into winter, the stripping of the rooms, the rapid theft, the rupture of pipes. The pilfering of anything recognizable. God will not give a miracle. He is boarding her windows. Tap, tap, tap. It comes to this. Spring I'm living in, the ghost of her bones. I lift her from the hallway, offer her face to the light. It comes to this, the moment of fracture, the brimming of rage, and then the invocation. Laying down my petition. There will be no miracle. There is only the thinning leaves of August and how to pack her tiny toes. It comes to this. My love dimming the lights, lifting her to a faraway home. Sarah Clancy for her amusingly titled Thanks for Nothing, Hippies. Carried away. We whiled away words there in the warmth, in the dim light, in the mischief of afternoon drinking, and we drank with abandon as if we could afford it, and laughed as though nothing was serious. In daylight drinking there are no befores, no afters, so we drank and half-heard songs seeping and paid neither heed nor attention to hard chairs, to Spanish hams hanging, or to the aimless waiters who knew us and took no notice, lost in their own after-lunch lull. That hour when secrets are so easily shared, except that us two had no need for soul-bearing. There deep in the hold of Friday's mist afternoon, where nothing has gravity, we floated, confessed nothing to no one. And look where it got us. Ron Padgett, Big Cabin. This is like a celebration of poetry, isn't it? Like, there's no rhyme or reason. I picked up a pile of books and here we go. Inside Happiness. Let's get inside a song and live there. Happy in its refrain. Happy to be in it again and again. Always the same. These poems are picked at random, by the way. I opened the books and thought, oh, okay. The Poet Stewart by somebody called Gordon Phinn. Politics. Bless her for being a liar, as she smooths her rumpled skirt and steps up to the mic to duly announce the newest confection of fertile proofs. Bless him for being so wired he cannot speak out without slipping up, embroiling the network in nouveau disputes. Bless them all as a team for thumbing their nose at the mere rotation of truths. Though citizens be itchy for eloquence, answers and dinner-table tales, we are assured by deceit in the pursuit of food, for it sends us a structure on which we may embroider the charitable project, the drift of forgiveness, the moon over water, itself under mist. Those souls escaping anguish by aiming for the sun. Ah, yes, Gordon Phinn. Karen Houle, or Houle, The Grand River Watershed, A Folk Ecology. Now, this is a new book. This is 2020. Lazarus Expiration. 3 super cute baby raccoons turning tight loops at the side of the Blair Road, while commuters smush their mother face first into pavement. Overhead, the southbound geese are triangulating. Ragged skylines read like expiration dates. The old German lady was found curled up like a beech leaf, having drunk a 40 of grey goose in her housecoat and laid down in a snowbank under a hedge, just as Cambridge, Ontario received the last possible storm from Lake Erie. I would prefer to stop having a number of days left, were her exact words. The sun is sinking over Lake Huron, which is not called Lake Huron. The logs sigh slightly inward. The lifting smoke advertises what will be eaten that night, is eaten by a body which is an object, but not just an object, and hence partly digested and left in nutrient fashion between the disturbed leaves and branches. Thus returned to earth, hefted to the thin surface of soil, where everything that lived can remain unfound. Mountain Tea, Peter Van Toorn, the re-release. One of those Canadian classics, I hear. Mountain Bouquet. Early tomorrow morning before dawn, I'm coming. Count on me, I'll be there. I'll take the shortcut over the mountain. I can't stay away from you any longer. I won't be seeing or hearing a thing, like a stranger, walking into the light, hands held behind his back. I'll come crossing the woods to you. My day will be your night. I won't stop to watch the whitecaps or wave to the boats once I'm near the city harbour. And soon, I'll put these 2 on your grave. This holly branch, this briar in flower. Ah yes, Laurence, Hutchman and Eva Kolacz. They're another new book, Fire and Water. Their book of love poems. And just getting into this right now, but I'll read a couple of short lyrics. First one by Eva. Be with me. What is keeping me here in this silent loom of early April? It's the picture in my mind, featuring our heart's joyous feast, and my body's willingness to wait for you. Or just this night, resembling a dark green forest, calmly inviting me to lie down. You brought me poems to keep me company, but in the rhythmic flow of your words. I'm the bird with paper wings, burning in the air. Now one from Laurence, Night Window. Am I awake or dreaming? I see you at the window between pale blue curtains, looking out at the night sky, totally in thought. You are not aware of me watching you, your naked body slightly in the shadows, with a little light shining on your shoulders, your curved back, and I could look at you for a long time, not knowing if I am awake or dreaming. Funny how my face changes as I move away from the camera. I'm not really up on these sort of things. You'll have to put up with me. Now here's a fine book by Bruce Meyer, The Obsession Book of Timbuktu. We've read from this before, and guess what? We're going to read from it again. All sorts of interesting books and poems and illustrations here. It's a detailed exploration of something you really need to explore yourself. I'm not going to try and explain it, but this is a fine poem. Book Two's Well, or The Reason Timbuktu Exists, 1. The Oasis. Long before there was learning here, there was a thirst that cried in the desert. Quench the fire of the sun inside me. Rain upon the freezing stars and sand. Wash me in the purity of a shadow's faith, and cleanse me with the stillness of wind. Come, let me drink you as I would a promise, that somewhere in our fleshed horizons I will thirst and thirst to know and know you. Come to this well and let me drink you. 2. Walking on Water. That winter afternoon, the sun refracted off Kempenfelt Bay as if the lake was a desert where we tread cautiously, making sure each step beneath was strong enough to hold us. Let us not be deceived, I said, by the beauty of our hopes. Carefully, in shortened strides, you took my arm, my hand, as if we were about to dance upon our shadows and the wind. Snow crystals wrapped us round, laughing at the oasis of our love when we were merely holding on to that fine and mortal balance, knowing then it was all we had. Nice one, Bruce. My friend Catherine Black, Bewilderness, from which we have read before. You know what I'm going to say. Lots of great prose poems here, at least that's what they look like to me. Not separated into stanzas, paragraphs. Conversation in the Attic. Conversations in the Attic. So gather in the attic where the heat off steamed milk has risen, and lower your voice, lean in, talk over your mustache, and talk over top of your pale lips. There's a tilt to the attic. The house sags in the middle. Marbles from a child's hand will rocket to the center of the room. Lower your voice as we talk of big firms or childhood, mergers or marbles. One of the problems of the attic is the view. It's perfect. And this can really worry you, particularly as the tilt of the room starts fucking up your equilibrium. You're going to start to walk with a tilt. Imperceptible at first, but then you'll start to notice the sole on one shoe wearing out, your clothing hanging to one side, a longer sleeve on your left arm. Those sort of things. But come on up to the attic and we'll talk. Hush yourself a little. Mouse breathe and whisper talk to me. One of the problems will be your desire to scream, but that feeling will pass eventually. Mice don't scream. I suspect they have dainty lace doily conversations about edible things. We'll do the same while you lean into me. Yay, nice one. Got a compendium from the Puritan magazine here, or an online journal. Rather dark, I don't know if you can see that. And I opened it, all sorts of poets in here, and as luck would have it, I opened to House by Gary Barwin. There is a man covered in glass on the lawn of a burning house. Soon there are sirens, and then ambulances, police, firefighters. Inside the house, 3 children, a wife, a dog, covered in stab wounds. They take the family into the forest and turn them into trees. They have dark branches with deep green leaves. The man becomes a river, its cool water flowing over twisted brown roots of the family. There's a bird with messy black feathers. It flies into town and into the office of the newspaper reporter. Make all stories like this one, it says. And oh, how we wish they were. Hooligans by Lillian Necakov. Necakov? God, I never know which it is. She told me once and I've forgotten already. Sorry, Lillian. I opened to this, funnily enough, Skating to America for David McFadden on his 70th birthday. I told you we could skate clear across when the lake was frozen and all the drops of water welded together. I lied. because I could see your heart pounding like a sparrow's in your tiny chest, and I couldn't disappoint you. Not yet. I told you the sun had teeth despite its brilliance. I told you I was black on the inside and that in our house there was room for every emotion. I climbed to the roof and roofed you to sleep with delicate, dulcet lies because you were still unaware of the circumference of a stranger, because I couldn't, not yet. I told you lies squared and more, but the truest thing I told you was about a man named David who drove around the entire lake in his little red car. And if you strung all his words together and followed them like a procession, they would weave you through radiant angles on your journey. His words would rip a hole in the night to reveal a sequence of fossils, skating you all the way to America. You would be cageless if you felt his voice sliding across your lips, and this life would not be a mistake. No, these lives aren't mistakes, even though they seem like them sometimes. Karen Solie, from her book called Pigeon, which has a skewed picture of a pigeon on it. Quite fond of Karen Solie. Her poems. Don't know her as a person. Sure, she's a wonderful human being. The Exlovers. They are ongoing in mid-season. They have mathematical implications. A frenzy of unsustainable practice hung a residue in the atmosphere, as though the affairs had burned coal in their heyday, then went abruptly bankrupt. It got quiet. Eons passed. They re-emerged with the gravity of unearthed figures from the Bronze Age. Now, honestly, they've never looked better. We're all beginning to feel mildly historic, walking arm in arm with our former selves through the streets that look noirish and literary as desirable properties gain on the not-so-desirable, and a civil population minds its peace. Sometimes a moment acutely revisited leaves us unable to breathe. How they could do that. How unkind it all seems to us now. And how marvellous. Have I got through the entire pile? My goodness, that's a surprise. I can't possibly have gotten through the entire pile, can I? Well, it looks like it. Maybe I'll reread something. Yeah, that Ron Padgett one was really short. Let's read a couple more. Down Under. This is from Big Cabin, by the way, one of his recent books. Down Under. People are wont to repeat the old advice. Live every day as if it were the last day of your life. The last day of my life? What? I'd be frantic, jumping around like a kangaroo in boxing gloves and punching the air and trying to fight off whatever. What people mean is, be fully engaged with life, like a kangaroo without boxing gloves. The Cloud. I should read The Cloud of Unknowing again. It's been 50 years. I can't remember what it said, so maybe I don't have to read it again. Maybe I'm the cloud. A wisp of it. That's it. Cloud of Unknowing. That's a kind of a medieval book of mystical thoughts, which I read myself a long time ago and can barely remember, but it's good. Here's another one. A Big Almost. I can almost imagine what it was like to be my mother, with emphasis on almost. Her feelings about being in this, the only world, rise up in me and are turned away by my personality. It wants to be itself, not someone else, though that someone else is only a few molecules away. It's good. It's good to have a heater you can hold your hands in front of, to get them warm enough to hold a pen to write. It's good to have a heater. And to feel the warmth spreading into your knees and down your shins, though you can't do much with them in a sitting position. They're just down there being shins. Yeah. Just down there being shins, just like we're up here being people and poets in a time of, a time of things looking different, but they aren't really. That's my impression anyway. Shit happens and you deal with it, and we go on surfing moment to moment as we slide out of time and into eternity and realize that we've always been there and just sort of forgot. Anyway, Gords Poetry Show. Sail on, brothers.